right, so for specifically Vikings fans, you're probably looking at this and thinking, no, not another corner. We've had enough of these. We have to draft other positions. But hear me out, because Eric Stokes is likely a day two player. So, second round, third round. Vikings don't have a second round pick. And for any other team in the NFL, or if you're a fan of another team, maybe this is a player that you kind of want to look at if you are also in the market for a corner for the second day of the NFL draft. Likely his teammate Tyson Campbell is going to be picked in the first round, so I think Eric Stokes is definitely an early to middle day two player. So for the Vikings in particular, I think Mike Hughes is on his way out due to all of the medical issues ever since he's got drafted. He can't stay healthy. To go into another year with just Cameron Dantzler, Jeff Gladney, and their backups being Chris Boyd, and whatever other corner they decide to keep off of this roster made up of the island of misfit toys, would be less than ideal. So I think Eric Stokes is a good player to take to give a little bit of attention. And from what I've seen on the tape, I actually kind of like. So Eric Stokes is a redshirt junior, measuring in at 6'1", 185 pounds. That's right in the middle of the mold of the Mike Zimmer corner. Jeff Gladney's on the shorter side at, I believe, 5'10", 5'11". And then Cam Dantzler is on the taller side at a 6'1", 6'2". He's definitely 6'2". So he's right in the middle of that size. He's got good size, good length for the corner position. And we'll talk about some of his other traits that I like in a minute. But we'll go over his statistics first and foremost. In 2018, he played 9 games, 20 tackles, 16 solo, 1 tackle for loss, 9 passes defended. 2019 gets a few more games under his belt at 13 games, 38 tackles, 30 of them solo, 1 tackle for loss, 1 sack, 9 pass deflections, which is good for 6th in the SEC that year. 2020, so far 9 games, 20 tackles, 14 solo, 4 interceptions, which is first in the SEC this year. 2 pick sixes, which is a lot of fun. And then 4 pass deflections. Last game, they played against Missouri, 2 tackles, 1 interception. They win. Georgia wins 49-14. They do have a bowl game coming up, which fellow teammate Ben Cleveland has opted out of. We'll eventually get to a video on him and his other teammates. He's a lot of good Georgia players this year. But so far for Eric Stokes, it's been a pretty productive season. So after watching minimal tape, I'll be honest, there is still a lot to like just looking at what kind of a player this guy is, especially for the corner position. What I do like is that he plays press coverage very well, very strong, and he really does stick with his man when playing man-to-man. Now, think about a guy like Justin Jefferson or Stephon Diggs, even Jerry Jeudy, really good, really clean, crisp route runners, right? They'll start you in one direction and then immediately shift to another direction. And a lot of times you see with that kind of move that they put on defenders, they get a little, turned around, a little cross-footed, if you will. But Stokes is pretty good about dealing with that, especially on slants. And he has a tendency to jump balls on those routes. One of the other things that I noticed on the film is that he's annoying to wide receivers. And what I mean by that is, you kind of look at like a player like Chauncey Gardner-Johnson out of Florida that plays for the Saints currently. He just his presence is annoying, right? He's always on you. You would do anything just to break away from this guy for at least a fraction of a second, but he's very hands-on, in your face, and is all around. He's just like a blanket of annoyance, if I could put it that way. Speaking of handsy, that's one thing I noticed, is that he is very hands-on with his wide receivers that he's covering, and I'm concerned, at least right now, that could lead to a lot of pass interference calls in the future at the next level, because if he is already using his hands at the level that he is right now, at least from the games that I've seen, against Tennessee, Arkansas, Alabama, a little concerning. Given how, NFL referees like to do whatever they can to advance the passing game in this league. So if he can just lay off a little bit more, I don't anticipate him getting as many calls as I think he would get now. So that's a little scary in and of itself. What I also have up here on the board is hits very hard and opportunistic. The blitz against Tennessee, where he obliterates the quarterback, and then there's also the special teams contributions that he can give to somebody that's looking for not just a return guy, but somebody that can get in there on a blitz and block a punt and do a scoop and score like he did this year. So for the rankings, he comes in at number 21 on the Draft Network's big board, and then the number 7 overall corner in Dane Brugler's latest update at the position. You don't find him too many other places because, there is the possibility that maybe he does go back to Georgia for another year out of the shadow of Tyson Campbell, a la Sean Wade from Ohio State. But that is basically where we are at with Eric Stokes. So Eric Stokes, to me, strikes me, as I said already, definitely a day two prospect, earlier middle, and somebody that can definitely help a team who needs depth at the cornerback position. May not be a starter right away, but maybe you put him in the nickel for a while and see how he does. So that's going to do it for this profile on Eric Stokes. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.